In the modern United States Navy, with its billion-dollar warships equipped with sophisticated radar systems, satellite communications, and computerized threat detection technology, there exists a position that might seem almost archaic: the Navy lookout. While artificial intelligence and cutting-edge sensors scan the seas and skies, human beings still stand on exposed bridge wings, squinting into darkness, rain, and spray, searching for threats with nothing but their eyes and a pair of binoculars. And if you think this sounds like a cushy job where you just watch stuff, think again. Being a Navy lookout might be one of the most underappreciated, exhausting, and downright miserable positions you can hold aboard a warship. The weight of responsibility. Let's start with the crushing psychological burden that comes with the job. As the Navy's lookout manual bluntly states, as a lookout, your eyes are the eyes of the ship, and on your alertness and skill rests the safety of the ship. Read that again. The safety of an entire vessel, potentially carrying hundreds or even thousands of sailors, rests on your ability to spot something before anyone else does. Naval History and Heritage Command. You're not just watching for enemy ships or aircraft. You're scanning for periscopes that are barely thicker than a broomstick, torpedo wakes that might give you only seconds to react, mines floating in the water, navigation hazards, other vessels on collision courses, and even a person who might have fallen overboard. Miss any of these and people die. The ship sinks. Families lose loved ones. And it's on you. This isn't hyperbole, it's the reality drilled into every lookout from day one. The 1943 Lookout Manual states it plainly: inattention to your lookout duties or carelessness in performing them may easily cause the loss of the ship and the death of your shipmates. Imagine going to work every day knowing that one moment of distraction, one brief lapse in concentration, could result in catastrophic consequences. The physical torture. Now let's talk about the actual conditions you endure while carrying this enormous responsibility. Lookout stations are typically positioned on the most exposed parts of the ship: bridge wings, flying bridges, or perched high in the superstructure. These positions offer maximum visibility but zero protection from the elements. In cold weather operations, you're standing in sub-freezing temperatures with wind chill factors that can push the effective temperature far below zero. The Navy provides foul weather gear, but when you're standing motionless for hours in driving sleet or snow, staring at gray waves merging with gray sky, no amount of clothing truly keeps you warm. Your hands go numb inside your gloves. Your face feels like it's being sandblasted with ice, and you can't look away. You can't duck inside to warm up. You stand there, scanning your sector in methodical steps because lives depend on it. In tropical conditions, the situation flips to the opposite extreme. You're baking under a relentless sun reflecting off the water, creating glare so intense that even with protective goggles, your eyes water constantly. The metal deck becomes a griddle. Heat exhaustion is a constant threat, and still, you scan. Step by step, sector by sector, hour after hour. Then there's rough weather. When the ship is pitching and rolling in heavy seas, the lookout positions become something approaching a theme park ride, except you're not strapped in. The ride lasts for hours, and if you vomit, you still have to keep watching. Spray constantly hits you. Your binoculars fog up. The horizon disappears behind mountainous waves, then reappears at impossible angles. And through it all, you're expected to detect threats that are increasingly difficult to spot in these exact conditions. The sensory nightmare. Being a lookout isn't just physically demanding, it's a peculiar form of sensory torture that most people never experience. Your job requires intense, sustained visual concentration for extended periods, which causes unique problems that landlubbers can't even imagine. During day watches, you're performing what's called step-by-step scanning. You move your eyes in 5-degree increments across your assigned sector, pausing for several seconds at each point, then sweeping back and starting over. You repeat this pattern constantly throughout your watch. Try staring at a wall and doing this for just 10 minutes. Your eyes will start to ache. Now do it for 4-hour watches while the wall is moving. The lighting is constantly changing, and everything depends on you not missing the one pixel that's different from all the others. Night watches are even worse. The human eye works completely differently in darkness, and you have to retrain your brain to use off-center vision, deliberately looking slightly away from objects to see them better with your peripheral vision. This is deeply counterintuitive and mentally exhausting. As the Lookout Training Handbook explains, you must direct your eyes at levels about 10 degrees above or below the horizon, because when you look directly at the horizon on black nights, the horizon immediately in front of your eyes is actually not seen. Maritime.org. To prepare for night watches, you must begin dark adaptation at least 30 minutes before your watch by wearing special red goggles, which make you look ridiculous but are absolutely necessary. Any exposure to white light, even glancing at a phone screen or entering a lighted compartment, destroys your night vision instantly, requiring another 30 minutes to recover. So for hours before and during your night watch, you live in darkness or under red light, your world reduced to shades of gray and the constant strain of trying to detect movement in the murky void. The eye fatigue is real and brutal. Your eyes water, they burn, they feel like they're full of sand. You develop headaches that throb behind your eyeballs, and there's no relief because you cannot stop looking. The mind-numbing monotony. Here's something nobody tells you about being a lookout. Most of the time, nothing happens. You're not watching epic naval battles unfold. You're staring at empty ocean for hours. Scanning, pausing, watching waves that all look identical, scanning cloud formations that never seem to change. In peacetime operations, you might stand an entire 4-hour watch and spot nothing but a distant fishing boat or some floating debris. This monotony is dangerous because it's the enemy of alertness. Your brain starts to zone out. You catch yourself staring without actually seeing. You have to constantly fight the urge to let your attention drift because, and here's the cruel irony, the one time you let your guard down might be the exact moment that periscope appears or that aircraft comes screaming in at 500 yards per second. The lookout manual warns that your night eyes detect moving objects much more readily than they detect stationary ones, which means you're specifically looking for the hardest to spot threats during the most visually challenging conditions while fighting the human brain's natural tendency to become less alert during monotonous tasks. The exhaustion factor. Navy watchstanding schedules are notoriously brutal, and lookouts don't get special treatment. You might be on a rotation like 6 hours on, 6 hours off, which sounds reasonable until you realize that during your 6 hours off, you also need to eat, handle other duties, attend training, and somehow sleep. Studies on sleep deprivation in Navy watchstanders have found that these schedules create cumulative sleep debt that severely impairs cognitive function and reaction time, precisely the things you need most as a lookout. DTEC research. As the 1943 manual bluntly states, a tired lookout is an invitation to trouble for the whole ship. Fatigue is sure to interfere with your night vision. You owe it to your ship to be at your best. But when does that happen? When the watch schedule ensures you're chronically exhausted, when are you ever at your best? The thankless nature of success. Perhaps the most psychologically frustrating aspect of being a lookout is that success is invisible. If you do your job perfectly, maintaining vigilant watch, catching threats early, preventing disasters, nobody notices. Your reward for excellent performance is nothing happening. No citations, no medals, just the next watch and the watch after that. But make one mistake, miss one contact, let one threat slip through, then everyone knows. Then there are investigations, reprimands, and potentially devastating consequences. You're operating in what safety experts call a high reliability organization, where perfection is expected and errors are unforgivable. The 1952 article, Lookouts, the Fleet's Forgotten Men, captured this perfectly in its title. U.S. Naval Institute lookouts are forgotten until something goes wrong. The technological paradox. Adding insult to injury is the fact that you're performing this exhausting, dangerous, monotonous work alongside sophisticated radar and sensor systems that can detect threats far beyond human visual range. Yet these systems can malfunction, have blind spots, can be jammed by the enemy, or might be turned off during emissions control. As the training materials make clear, the availability of these devices in no way relieves you of your responsibility to see everything in your sector within range of vision and to report everything you see. So you're the backup to the technology, except you're also the primary detection method in certain situations. You're simultaneously obsolete and absolutely critical. You're equipped with billion-dollar sensors, but still expected to spot threats with Mark I eyeballs and binoculars that, while improved since World War II, operate on the same basic principles. Conclusion. Being a Navy lookout means accepting enormous responsibility with minimal recognition, enduring extreme physical discomfort for extended periods, performing mentally exhausting visual tasks that cause genuine sensory strain, fighting both monotony and sleep deprivation, and knowing that your perfect performance is invisible while any mistake could be catastrophic. It means standing on an exposed bridge wing at 0300 in freezing rain, scanning your sector for the 100th time that watch, eyes burning, body exhausted, knowing that despite all the technology surrounding you, the safety of your ship and shipmates depends on whether you can spot that one anomaly in an ocean of gray. So the next time you see a modern warship and marvel at its technological sophistication, remember, somewhere on that vessel, a sailor is standing watch as a lookout, using the same basic techniques developed in World War II, fighting the same battles with fatigue, weather, and human limitations that lookouts have fought for generations. It's a job that has to be done. Someone has to do it, but yeah, it pretty much sucks.